April 21st, 2014, 4/21/14. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live edition, that's right, of your favorite show ever, Fire Your MD Now. Physicians engaged in patient care. This from Medscape. Physicians engaged in patient care generated $1.6 trillion, that's trillion with a T, dollars in economic activity and supported 10 million jobs nationwide in 2012. This from a new report from the American Medical Association. The report measured the impact of 720,000 patient care physicians in all 50 states and the District of Columbia as of December 2012. Each physician supported an average of $2.2 million in economic output and contributed a total of $1.6 trillion in economic output nationwide. Wages and benefits at the state level, physicians supported mean total wages and benefits of $7.4 billion and mean total wages and benefits of $12.7 billion. At the national level, $775 billion in direct and indirect wages and benefits. On average, each physician supported an average of $1.1 million in total wages and benefits. I think the AMA data is valid and is in line with other studies that we have done. So what they're saying here, that physicians that run small businesses, and small business drives the overall economy. So physicians in hospitals and insurance companies and x-ray technicians and physical therapists and pharmacists and all of the infrastructure that goes into supporting the medical profession generated a lot of money. You know how much money $1 trillion is? You know how much money $1 trillion is? Well, they generated $1.5 trillion, 1.6. So, if you had a stack of you had $1,000, right? 10 $100 bills. That's $1,000. If you had 1,000 of those stacks, you would have $1 million. And maybe if you were just right, you could fit 1,000 of those stacks in, I don't know, let's say 2 briefcases, right? So 2 briefcases, you got $1 million. Now, you put those 2 briefcases on top of each other and duct tape them together. You got 2 big briefcases filled with $100 bills, $1 million. Now you take 1,000 of those, multiply that by 1,000 times. That's 1,000 million is $1 billion. 1,000 of those, 1,000 million is $1 billion. And then you take 1,000 of those. 1,000 of that. Put all of those into a big container. You need about probably 2.5 containers for that. And take that times 1,000 times. Now you have $1 billion, right? 1,000 is $1 million. 1,000 million is $1 billion. 1,000 billion is $1 trillion. It's a remarkable amount of money. And this is what the medical profession generates annually here in the United States of America, and that's why we will never fight them. We will never win on their battlefield. They're too huge. And it's not just them. It's everybody that supports what they do, right? I mean, all the laundry services, all the bandage services, all the chemical houses that make all of the stuff, all of the x-ray technicians, all of that stuff. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's a lot of money. And this is why longevity is so important. Because we're never, ever going to be able to fight Big Pharma and the medical industry on their own terms, on their own battlefield. We can't. And this is a war. It's a war for education. It's a war for health. You know, I hate to be so militant sounding, but quite frankly, the medical industry is dealing out death. They're dealing out death. And so, you know, we are engaged in a peaceful, non-militant war, but make no doubt about it, it's a life and death proposition. It is a life and death proposition. That's why I'm so passionate about this. So you think we can possibly compete with an industry that generates $1.6 trillion? Okay, you think that's impossible? We can't do that. So what we're going to do is espionage. We're going to, instead of fighting them directly, We're going to fight them indirectly, and how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by building a grassroots coalition of the informed, of people just like you all around the world who have seen the light of medical nutrition, who have tried our medical nutrition strategies, who have recovered their health with our medical nutrition strategies, and then who tell everybody in their community about it, everybody in their family, everybody in their church, everybody in their life about it. And that's how we're going to change the world, one person at a time, through an end around. We're going to do an end around. We're going to do one of those, triple reverse sneak plays that once in 10 years they roll out, at the NFL playoffs. We're going to do a triple reverse sneak play. We're not going to fight them on the front lines because we can't. We're going to get people all around the world in massive numbers through a networking organization to get themselves so healthy that they won't need to use the services of the MD anymore. They won't need to use them. Now, in the United States, they're forcing you to buy medical insurance. In Canada, they've forced you to buy medical insurance for a long time, or forever. They take it right out of your paycheck. It automatically gets taken, zip, right out of your paycheck. Same in the UK. In all of the nations around the world where there's socialized medicine, they just take it right out. But the medicine that you have access to is MD-directed medicine and pharmaceuticals and surgery only. You don't have access to anything else unless you want to pay out of your pocket. It's a gigantic industry. And so the way that we are going to sink their ship is by drilling millions of eeny-weeny tiny pinholes in it. Millions of eeny-weeny tiny pinholes. So every time you recover your health with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, every time someone in your family, someone in your church, someone in your community does the same thing, that's another little tiny pinhole in this ship. And it's only a matter of time until all of that water accumulates and sinks it. The medical profession is dying right now. It's dying a slow death. They're generating massive amounts of money as they go down for the count. And so much so that we can't fight them on the battlefield. So we're going to educate people all around the world how to make themselves so healthy that they can simply stop going to the MD. In a perfect world, you would only need to see an MD if you were suffering from some type of a trauma. Right? Or you got a nasty infectious disease, right? Went to Thailand for vacation and came back with some crazy intestinal parasite from Mars, right? Well, that's what the MDs are good for. Sometimes. Right? That's their domain. Surgery, emergency care, and a handful of infectious diseases. In a perfect world, that's all that you would ever need to see the MD for, because for everything else, they're clueless. They are clueless about what causes disease. They don't care what causes disease. And their training resolves 100% around generating therapeutics that manage the symptoms. And, it's only a matter of time until that house of cards collapses. It's already starting to collapse, which is why it's such an important time, an opportunistic time to be a longevity representative. Because everybody in the world needs your help. Everybody in the world needs your help. Everybody needs to know what you know. There is not one person on planet Earth who does not need to know what we know. There's not one. And there is not one person on planet Earth who would not benefit in a remarkable way by applying what we recommend. There is not one person. So everybody is your customer. Everybody is a potential longevity prospect for you. Everybody in the world. Even the unborn are prospects for you. Because from our point of view, all birth defects are caused by nutrient deficiencies in the blood of the pregnant mother. So the field is ripe for the picking as a longevity representative. And as a longevity representative, it's never a bad idea to get in while the getting is good because, right, this is a networked business. It's a network business, which means it's shaped like a triangle. And the closer you are to the top of the triangle, the more money you make, the more revenue you generate yourself every month. It's good to be near the top of the triangle. Well, the sooner you get started with longevity, the closer to the top of the triangle you become. Don't even wait a year. If you're going to wait a year from now, it's going to be, it's not ever going to be too late, but what the heck? You want to jump in now. Get involved with longevity now. Now is the time. And there are two ways, of course. You can interface with longevity as a business builder. You can come in at the Get Your Feet Wet $10 one-time membership fee level. You can do that. You can join longevity and start to learn the ropes, start to build an organization, start to see if it's, your cup of tea. And then if it is your cup of tea, you can upgrade to the full membership and receive all the benefits thereof at $500 one-time membership fee. That's it. So get your feet wet with longevity. Check it out. If you were brought to this radio broadcast of your own volition, then visit my website, click on the Join Team Glidden button, follow the bouncing mouse, and someone from my organization will be in touch with you, and they'll tell you what to do step by step. We will teach you how to work and run a successful longevity business. If you were pointed here by somebody else in longevity, by a pre-existing longevity member, then call them up and say, look, I just heard Dr. Glidden, and you know what? I want to give this stuff a try. Call the person up who directed you here. Lean on them for support, because that's how this works. We are a worldwide grassroots organization of the informed, dedicated to helping you recover your health, and in so doing, recover your wealth. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, coming at you for the 21st day of April 2014, the 21st day of April 2014. Thanks so much for finding your way here. I wanted to give you a heads up because, my part of my thing here is that perspective is very important and knowledge is power. Well, here's another brand new article rolled out by Medscape. Osteoarthritis is becoming more problematic as the population ages. Well, it's got nothing to do with aging. They got that wrong. Our osteoarthritis starts now at 18, and 2/3 of people with osteoarthritis in the United States are under the age of 65. Bet you didn't see that coming. Recent reports suggest that the benefits of anti-inflammatory drugs is unimpressive, and the incidence of side effects is worrying. Well, thank you very much. We've been saying that for 50 years. This is interesting, though, because this is what the study, this particular article was about. Low-level laser light therapy is an alternative approach with no known side effects and with reports of substantial therapeutic efficacy in osteoarthritis. So here's what they did. They took a bunch of rats and they injected an enzyme that eats up joints into the knees of the rats, right? And then they did laser light therapy on the knee of the rat. They just shone a laser light on the knee, not like a James Bond death laser, just like a little laser from the laser pointer, right? Laser pointer when you're giving a presentation, right? On your little key ring, there's a little laser pointer. So they shone the little laser light, low level intensity laser light on right around the knee, and then they measured blood values of inflammatory markers, and what do you know? They found that the rats who had the laser light treatment were substantially better off than the rats who hadn't. But so you're going to be hearing this more and more now. This is going to start to be rolled out because what they're finding is that the low-level laser light therapy increases the body's natural anti-inflammatory mechanisms. It increases the body's natural anti-inflammatory mechanisms. But here's the sticking point that everybody's going to miss. When it comes to arthritis or any chronic disease, but we're talking about arthritis now, if you ask a medical doctor what causes arthritis, they will tell you it's inflammation of the joint. Well, so all of their therapeutics are built and based upon getting rid of inflammation because they believe that that's what causes arthritis. But that's foolish and it's ridiculous and it's juvenile. Inflammation does not cause the arthritis. Well, inflammation is related to the arthritis, and if there wasn't inflammation, there would be no arthritis. But this begs the question, what caused the inflammation? The MDs don't care. They never ask that question. And they're not asking that question here with this laser light therapy. They are set on the notion that arthritis is just a normal part of life, and for some reason the body just starts creating inflammation and it doesn't know why. And so the MD's job is to just put the fire of inflammation out. That's all that they do. But they understand that the drugs that they're using have really pretty nasty side effects, and they don't get to the root cause of the disease. So they're looking for other anti-inflammatory agents, and they just found one with a low-level laser light therapy, but don't be duped. The low-level laser light therapy does not get to the root of what causes the inflammation. It just stimulates your body to be better at putting out that fire. But it doesn't get to the root of what caused the fire in the first place. And this is why everybody needs to fire their MD. Everybody needs to fire their MD. Everybody. Because they do not understand the basics. They've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. What causes inflammation? That's the bigger and better question. The MDs are clueless about this. And so now they're starting to branch out into, low-level laser light therapy, and next year it'll be acupuncture and whatever, and all of the treatments, none of which are designed. They're better than drugs, for sure, but none of these treatments are designed to get to the root cause of the illness, and if you don't get to the root cause of the illness, the orthopedic surgeon maintains his place in the sun. Do not be fooled, ladies and gentlemen. Fire your medical doctor now and take your health back into your own hands with Longevity. Stick around. We're going to Minnesota and talk to Clinton when we get back. April 21st, 2014, that's Monday. Get ready for Longevity Convention. That's this Thursday. That means Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days, 72 hours, less than 72 hours. Longevity Convention 2014 kicks off. Very excited. I'll be there myself, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Looking forward to putting a face to the name of all my loyal listeners in a couple of days at Anaheim, California, with the 2014 Longevity Convention. Let's go to Minnesota right now and see what Clinton is up to. Hey, Clint, thanks for the phone call. You are live. Come on in, Clinton. Hello, Clinton. All right, we'll have to come back for Clinton. And let's go to Chicago now and see if we can't find Zandra. Hey, Zandra, thanks for the phone call. You are live. Come in, Zandra. Zandra, that's 0 for 2, folks. It's 0 for 2. All right, so no Minnesota, no Chicago. How about Trinidad, man? Let's go to Trinidad and see if we can't bring Wayne up. Hey, Wayne, thanks for the phone call. You were live. Can you hear me, Wayne?
Clear.
There you go, Wayne. Come on in.
Yeah, I'm just calling to ask something about my mother. She'll be 85 this year.
Yeah.
And she came from the U.S. since January.
Yeah.
And I had her on a Healthy Start pack. And last week she went to do a checkup. And her blood pressure been up, like 190/1. So we've been taking down different blood pressures for different days, etc. And it's been fluctuating between 190, 205, 159, and then this morning 181/78.
Okay, so when her numbers have been fluctuating, what are the low numbers?
Okay, you have like on the 17th she had it at 190 over 101, and then at noon we took it was 177 over 138, and then in the evening it was 205 over 95. You know.
Okay. Well,
and then
here's
the doctor gave her I think it was enalapril.
Enalapril, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Gave her that. Told her to take one of those a day.
Yeah. Okay. And how long ago was that?
That was last week Wednesday.
And has the blood pressure come down?
It has not come down considerably. You still get readings like 178 over 113, 163 over 82, 164 over 100, etc.
Okay. Well, just as an FYI, and I can help you with this, Wayne, but just so we keep it all in perspective. Remember, the pharmaceutical industry is at the epicenter of all medical research and everything that's taught in medical schools and how everything is rolled out clinically. That they are the king of the castle. When I was in medical school, it was illegal to diagnose. Well, it wasn't illegal, but it was improper to diagnose high blood pressure until you had 3 consecutive readings, 3 back-to-back readings where both numbers were elevated above 140 over 90. Both numbers had to be elevated, 140 over 90, 3 times in a row. What's happened lately is the American Heart Association has lowered those numbers, and now if one patient reports to one doctor one time with one number above, 140 or 90, they're going to be put on blood pressure meds immediately, and it's nonsense. So just keep in mind that from my point of view, which is the correct point of view, you do not have hypertension, you do not have high blood pressure unless and until you have had 3 consecutive readings where the top number is over 140 and the bottom number is over 90. They both have to be elevated. Now, certainly, it looks like your mom had that, 190 over 101, 177 over 138, 205 over 95, right? So she has high blood pressure. But moving forward, as you're trying to figure out the effectiveness of the program, 140 over 90 is the upper end of normal, okay? Okay. Now, from our point of view, there's only 2 things that cause high blood pressure, we know most of the time. The first, and is certainly the largest, most predominant, is not enough calcium and not enough magnesium. It's a simple calcium and magnesium deficiency. The second cause would be peripheral arterial disease of the kidneys, which is funky blood supply to the kidneys, right? So the first thing that I would do, as by way of experiment, for 7 days. How much does your mother weigh?
She weighs about 130.
Okay, so for 7 days in a row, I would give her 1 ounce of the white liquid calcium.
Okay, the liquid, okay.
In 2 ounces of orange juice.
Okay.
4 times a day. I'd give her 1 ounce of the white liquid calcium, Beyond Osteo FX, in 2 ounces of orange or pineapple juice, or grapefruit juice. Any type of citrus would work. And I would give her 1 ounce 4 times a day. That's 4 ounces a day. And I would give her the final ounce immediately before bed. Do that for 7 days and look to see if the blood pressures come down. If they do, then we've hit the nail on the head. She needs more calcium. Okay. Now the problem here is, right, let's say I'm 200 pounds, and in order for my body to be healthy, I need 2 ounces of white liquid calcium a day. Okay, that's just for me to maintain my health. 2 ounces a day.
Right.
Well, you know, I'm 55 years old. If I didn't know anything about longevity, for 55 years, I would have been eating all of the wrong food. And every time I eat whole grains, especially wheat, barley, rye, and oats, my intestinal tract is damaged. And so now, even though I'm taking 2 ounces of the white liquid calcium a day, I may only effectively be absorbing a quarter of an ounce, a half of an ounce, because my intestinal tract has been so messed up by 50 years of my eating all the wrong foods. So sometimes, especially in the beginning, first 2, 3, 4 months, we have to give people more than is appropriate for their body weight just because they can't absorb it. They can't absorb it. Now, another workaround for this is to, give her the dose appropriate for her body weight, but do it spread it out over the course of a day to facilitate absorption. But this is pretty high blood pressure. So you have to get a handle on it and control on it, which is why my recommendation for 7 days is 1 ounce 4 times a day. That's a big dose for someone who's 130 pounds, but I think it's entirely appropriate here. And if that dose brings the blood pressure down into a normal zone by way of supporting and promoting a healthy cardiovascular system, then I would keep her at that dose for 3 weeks. And then, as time goes by and she's eliminated the 10 bad foods and she gets more nutrition into her body, she should need less and less and less and less of the calcium until she's at, a dose which is optimal for her body weight. But you're going to need to load it up front, and I'm pretty sure that's going to solve the problem.
Okay, because one of the other things I noticed that she had was she does not have frequent bowel movements as she ought to every day.
Yeah. Yeah, what about restless legs at night in bed, or anxiety and panic attacks, or heartburn?
She doesn't have any heartburn. She had like an anxiety this morning.
Yeah, that's calcium deficiency. So she needs calcium, man. That's what she needs. She needs more of the calcium. And I'm going to tell you, Wayne, and I know you're not going to like this because you're in Trinidad, and you got to get the stuff shipped to Trinidad. And when we ship stuff anywhere, it's based on body weight, on weight. Mm-hmm. But I would use for your mother the liquid Beyond Osteo FX instead of the powdered Beyond Osteo FX.
Yes, I was thinking that.
Because it's just gonna produce a better result. I mean, we're seeing better results.
It's much more absorbable.
Yeah. So that's what I would do, Wayne. I'd just go crazy for calcium for 7 days, and then call me back with a report and let me know what happened. Okay.
Now, there was something else I had to ask you. There was something going out in email about buying some DVDs that you had, a new set called Seeing is Believing or something like that, or Healing is Easy.
Well, I'm not in charge of that, but all of the information that's pertinent to that is available on the website.
Yeah, I tried to and I couldn't get it.
Yeah, it's all right. So then, if you can give the moderator here, the person after I hang up with you, if you can give the station moderator your email address. Mm-hmm. I'll send you an email after the show, and I'll try to track that down and get information over to you.
Okay. I also have her on Selenium and also on the EFAs.
Well, that makes you the smartest man in Trinidad, Wayne. That's a good program. Now, remember, she can't have any shark and bake. I'm sorry, she can't.
Yeah, she doesn't have that. I have a list of the 10 bad foods, and we're following that as good as possible. Okay,
very good. And regretfully, Wayne, the last thing I want to tell you is I have yet to come up with a hangover remedy for Trinidad Mardi Gras, but I'm working on it.
Don't panic, you'll get over it.
Keep up the good work. I'll be in touch, and give my producer your email address. I'll look forward to it. Thanks so much. How about that, Trinidad, ladies and gentlemen? I've had the great privilege of going to Trinidad 3 times now to deliver a health lecture. Trinidad, by the way, for those of you geographically challenged, is a small island nation. 2 islands are adjacent to each other, Trinidad and Tobago, which are right off of the very northeast corner of South America. If you know where Aruba is, if you know where the island nation of Aruba is, if you're at Aruba and you go due east a couple of 100 miles, you're going to run right into Trinidad. It's a great place. It's a great part of the Caribbean. And interestingly enough, Trinidad, I believe, is one of the few, if not the only, island in the Caribbean that hasn't been, whose economy does not come from tourism. Trinidad's economy comes from oil. There's oil fields off of Trinidad, and that's where the economy is centered around drilling for oil and exportation of oil. They might also do natural gas. Don't quote me on that. But Trinidad's a very interesting place to travel to because it's not touristy at all. It's not touristy at all. There's like maybe two decent hotels on the whole island. The rest of it is all private residences. If you really want to have a taste of the old Caribbean, visit Trinidad. It's a wonderful place. I had a lot of fun there every time I've been there. And the Trinidadians are very, very receptive to this message because, why wouldn't you be receptive to this message? Because it's true. Trinidad, we love Trinidad, and they have a big carnival there, kind of like the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Once a year, I think it lasts for 4 weeks. People come from all over the world to go to the Mardi Gras in Trinidad, and my, oh my, I've been told from people who live there that it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Today is April 21st, 2014. Thanks so much for calling. Stick around, why don't you? On the other side of the break, we're going to go to New York and talk to Dorothy, I think, about a stroke. And then Clinton from Minnesota is back. Zandra from Chicago is back. Teresa from Iowa after that. And we're locked and loaded here on Monday, April 21st, 2014. Visit the website, why don't you, fireyyourmdnow.com. First show. Let's go to Dorothy in New York and see what's cracking. Hey, Dorothy, thanks for the phone call. You are live. Come in, Dorothy.
Yes.
Hello, Dorothy. What's going on?
I had a stroke in 2011. And from then, about a couple of months after, I got like needles and pins in half of my body. And now it turns to like a burning, I cannot bear it at all. Burning night and day. The only time I doesn't feel it is when I'm sleeping. As my eye open, it's right there.
Well, I think none of this would have happened if you'd have just stayed in Jamaica. What do you think?
Stay in Trinidad.
Oh, you're in Trinidad. Oh, I missed it. Son of a gun. I got to tell you, Dorothy, I'm going to tell you what to do. No kidding, but just as an aside, the Trinidad accent is a very, very difficult accent to do. My son is a professional actor. And he studied, one of the courses that they teach actors is, dialects, right? How to speak like an Englishman or an Irishman or an Australian. And two of the hardest accents to really master were a South African accent and a Trinidad accent. Isn't that something? How long have you lived in the States?
Around 22 years now.
Yeah. Do you ever get back to Trinidad?
Yes. The last time I was there, at the same year, 14 days after I came from Trinidad, I got the stroke.
Oh, son of a gun.
It was in 2011.
Yeah. I was there about a year ago, and we watched the giant sea turtles come in to lay their eggs on one of the beaches. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was quite a fascinating thing. So, from our Dr. Wallach, and did you hear about us? How'd you hear about us? Through Benny Hinn?
Wayne from Trinidad.
The Wayne, the guy that just called. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Dr. Wallach, who is the founder of Youngevity, sued the Food and Drug Administration in the United States years ago so that we can legally say that essential fatty acid supplementation, EFA supplementation, virtually eliminates the risk of stroke. People don't get stroke because they have a voodoo curse. People don't get a stroke because they have a bad gene. People don't get strokes because they're getting older. And people don't get strokes because they take rides in jet airplanes. People get strokes because their blood is unhealthy and their blood has lost its ability to, clot and not clot appropriately. Well, why? What causes that? Not enough nutrients. Your blood runs out of nutrients. It can't clot correctly, and so something's going to break. So essential fatty acid supplementation is mandatory for you, Dorothy, and I'm going to tell you how to do that in a minute. Research published about a year ago in just conventional, straight MD medical circles proved that people who have a stroke recover much faster if they take the mineral selenium into their body on a daily basis. Selenium is a very important nutrient. It's a trace mineral. It's like calcium, right? It's a mineral. And if you have adequate amounts of selenium in your blood, you recover from the negative effects of a stroke much faster. So what my recommendation to you is to support and promote your central nervous system and your cardiovascular system, because that's what's been harmed by the stroke, and that's what's at play here. So how much do you weigh, Dorothy?
250 pounds.
Okay, so here's what I would do once a month for 3 months to see if you feel any better. I would do 2 healthy brain and heart packs.
2?
Yep, called Healthy Brain and Heart Packs. Wayne will know what that is. Tell him you need 2 brain and heart packs. And 2 bottles of selenium. 2 bottles of selenium, S like Sam, E, L like Larry, E, N like Nancy, I-U-M. 2 selenium, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, plus you, me, Wayne, everybody in Trinidad, everybody in the world must stop eating 10 foods. Wayne will give you the list. He'll tell you which foods to not eat. He'll tell you how to take these supplements, and I'm going to guess that you're going to start to feel better every couple of weeks. It's going to be like watching ice melt in the springtime. 2 healthy brain and heart packs, and 2 bottles of selenium a month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs and 2 selenium. Get in touch with Wayne and then give me a call back. Hour 2 coming up, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now.